Hi, I'm David and welcome to the Retro Builder channel. This channel was created as I have a huge love for all things DIY, and with my home just recently turning 60 years old, I thought it would be great to start sharing some of the jobs that I get up to in and around my home. So sit back, get yourself a cup of tea and enjoy what we have in store for you this episode. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to yet another video. Very different to the last video where we were working outdoors on installing posts and a field gate at the end of my garden. In this video I'm making a start on what is going to be quite an epic really. I'm currently in the process of installing a brand new oil boiler that's going to be situated outside just the back of my kitchen, and as a result I want to upgrade the central heating and hot water pipes, put in an S-plan system, which is going to mean I'll have pumped hot water and not the traditional expansion style hot water system that my house from 1965 was first installed with. To help you better understand what I'm going from and to, let's first show you a little diagram of my current plumbing from the boiler. We basically had two sides to the old boiler. The central heating side, which is hot water from the boiler pumped through a central heating pump off to the radiators using two 22mm flow and return pipes. We then had the hot water side, which uses the same hot water from the boiler, but this was not pumped to the hot water cylinder, no. It simply expanded through larger 28mm diameter pipes in the hope it reached the cylinder where it warms up the water inside the cylinder and returns to the boiler cold to be reheated. This setup was semi-okay in the winter because we had our boiler running for much longer as it was doing the central heating, so the hot water side of the boiler got a chance to expand over a longer period of time. However, in the summertime, when we only wanted hot water with no heating, the water didn't expand quick enough, and as a result, the boiler would get too hot and stop to cool down. So it could take almost half a day to get hot water to the cylinder to warm up the water inside of it. This setup was old, and whilst we just put up with it for many years, or sometimes resorted to just using the immersion water heater in the summer, things needed to change. So that is where our new system comes in. Some of you may be looking at this diagram and thinking, David, it doesn't look too different to the old one. And you would be correct in thinking that way. You see, the new system still uses most of the original components that the old system has. But the key difference is now we can see the boiler has just two pipes, one flow and one return, which is pumped. However, the flow has two 2-port valves on it. Basically a valve that opens and closes when it's told to. We have one valve for the central heating and one valve for the hot water. When we command heating or hot water, or both, these valves open, the boiler comes on and water is now pumped through either system. The key bit here is that our hot water is now pumped to the cylinder and doesn't make its way there just by expansion. So the hot water cylinder gets hotter quicker and we can run the hot water only in the summer without upsetting our boiler. Job done. How do we achieve pumped hot water? Well, first and foremost, what we're going to do is step these 28mm down to 22mm. So we have four 22s. We're going to take the central heating and hot water returns and we're going to bridge them together. So they go into one pipe, which will then go into a system filter. So we can remove sludge from the system every 6 months, every year, however long that needs to be done. And then off the back of the feed, so we'll have a hot water flow and a central heating flow. We'll connect those together, but in line we'll stick some 2-port valves. So essentially we've got a bit of a diagram here to show how that's going to work. So you can see the pump, which is going to, I think they're installed in the boiler on these, but that goes out of the boiler, and then we'll have a hot water valve and a heating valve. So we'll have our heating valve there, hot water valve there, and yeah, basically when it's all wired together, it'll just mean that the room thermostat will command for hot water from the central heating side of things, and the cylinder stat, which is part of this kit that I've bought, which I'll need to install, run a wire all the way from the cylinder all the way here, that will command hot water to the cylinder coil. Right, I've waffled on for enough. You've pretty much hopefully got the lay of the land of what I need to do and how I got here. So really I need to start by taking off all this boxing and taking some stuff down and starting to cut pipes. So let's just jump straight into it. Similar to my garden gate and posts episode that I uploaded last, I love clearing a space ready to work in it, and given my kitchen is very modest, any space we can make helps for a job like this. With the boxing removed, I started peeling off the pipe lagging. This is foam likely containing plastic, so has stuck to the pipes over the many years of heat cycles. I noticed that some of the pipe clips have failed where they've become brittle over time, so I took the opportunity now to remove the old ones, and having bought a bag of new ones, I went about putting those on the wall. The pipes were a bit stubborn to get into the new clips, but with a bit of brute force and essentially a whack, they were clipped in trouble-free. Now it was time to start plumbing. After moving a piece of wood which was fouling on one of the 28mm pipes, I started cleaning up both the hot water pipes and the heating pipes, before first focusing on the heating side. I started cutting the central heating flow pipe, because this pipe and the others would accept new lever valves, which will pay dividends later if I need to isolate this part of the plumbing circuit. A lever valve is simply a lever connected to an internal ball with a hole through it. The ball can be rotated with the lever, which blocks or allows the water through it. I have come to learn over the years that these valves are more reliable than a traditional gate valve, which are commonly found on heating systems. With the flow pipe lever valve on, I then stuck one on the return. Being a bit OCD, I decided to colour code red for hot flow and blue for a cooler return. And then I stepped down the 28mm water pipes to 22mm to take their lever valves. Okay, so you saw in those clips, I've managed to get to the first milestone, which is 4 isolator valves, colour-coded for the red, flow and blue return, which means I can isolate all 4 bits of pipe coming out of those. But really, the next milestone I want to get to is the 2 returns, the 2 blue isolating valves. I need to bring those together to go into my sludge trap. So with regards to getting the 2 returns to 1, what I've done is I've made up this little fitting. I've not finished yet, but there's a tiny copper length between the 2 fittings, and this will bring the 2 into 1. Obviously there's a bit of wiggle room side to side here, so the fitting is just slightly too long, but that's okay. Once it's sort of down here, we should be able to bring 2 into 1 trouble free. And then once we've got 1 return, we can fit the Worcester sort of Magna filter thing that basically has a huge magnet in, and it just means it catches all the rubbish that comes back from all of the central heating and hot water, and yeah, stops it going out into the boiler, and yeah, just protects it really. So that is my next milestone. Let's get the returns into 1 pipe and then the sludge trap mounted on the board. So I've made up the fitting, as we can see here. Got the 2 olives on, and I put plenty of PTFE tape on there, so hopefully we don't get any leaks. The trick now is to get this mounted probably that way round, because then it means the outlet will mean our filter sits closer to us essentially if we need to change it, clean it. Yeah, so let's go and get that bolted on now. With my new 2-into-1 piece going on nicely, loosely plumbed in and clipped to the wall, I then started harvesting a length of old copper pipe which I would use to come out of the 2-into-1 piece. Using old copper pipe is great for reuse, but this one's pretty filthy, so I figured I might as well give it a good scrub first, then fit it into the compression fitting. With the new length in place, I could offer up the sludge filter. Not forgetting my PTFE onto the olive trick, I tightened down the fittings to hold the filter in place. I then decided to maintain traction, I would now start thinking about the 2-port valves which come as part of my central heating kit. We can see inside that the 2-port valve simply has a flap which opens and closes, allowing water to flow through it. So with my clips on the board already and my fitting made up, I went ahead and installed the valve on the heating side. Then the actuator, which electronically opens and closes the valve, repeating the process for the hot water flow pipe. I'll be attacking the wiring in the next episode, but for now I decided to clip it onto the board, which keeps things tidy, but this may not be the permanent placement of the wires in the long run. Good morning. So, excuse the noise because I've got the dishwasher going, but yes, it's the following morning and it is pretty fresh out there this morning, so I've gone ahead and lit both of my wood burners just to keep the house a bit warm. But let's give you an update on where we got to yesterday. So really pleased with the progress. We've obviously got the sludge filter on the return and we've got the two port valves. But this morning what I do need to do is connect the outlets of the two port valves from the central heating and hot water and join them into one, and then we'll have a length coming off of the sludge filter, so we'll have the return and the flow 2 pipes which will go into our brand new boiler. So yeah, in terms of getting the two connected, I'm going to have to step over this joint. Now if I was better at soldering, you can actually buy soldered copper joints that have a nice bend in them and enable you to join 2 sections together, step over, some obstruction. But actually what I'm going to do, if I spin you round, is take a T-piece compression fitting and an elbow, and you're probably thinking, oh, that's going to hit the copper, but then the elbow is going to face that way, and then we'll have another elbow that comes off here, which I can point wherever, and I'll point towards that connecting piece. I'll make it up and bang it on, you'll get a better idea. So let's crack on. Right, so whilst I take a bit off of the length of this 22mm, which will probably be about that much to be fair, it's probably worth mentioning all the cuts and all the cleaning I've been doing over the sink. The reason being is that more so the actual cleaning with this wire wall, you get loads of little wire fibres going into the air, and it's quite nice, just most of it, not all of it, but most of it going into the sink, and you can just wash it down the drain, obviously put a trap in and catch the bulk of it. But yeah, it just keeps a lot of it off of your surfaces, especially if you're working in a kitchen, because you don't really want to be preparing food and have little gritty pieces of wire wall in it. But yeah, I mean, obviously everything had a wipe down last night, floor and surfaces, and everything will get a wipe down at the very end of this stage. But it's all about just reducing risk, right? Just mitigating the risk and just reducing the cleanup overall. So top tip there. Anyway, let's try and get this cut, deburred and cleaned. Ta-da! There we go. So we have hit our first milestone, which is all of the plumbing. Probably going to leak like a sieve, but to be fair, it's all compression joints, it's olives and PTFE. So if when we fill the system, there is a little drip here or there, we can just nip each fitting up as we see fit. But yeah, we've got our main flow that now splits off to the hot water central heating. We've got our return, so returns back from the central heating and hot water, and then obviously they join into one common return that goes into our sludge filter. And essentially these two pipes here are going to shoot out the wall, probably in episode 3 where we go into the boiler. In episode 2, which will be the next one, I'm going to focus on the wiring. So we're going to have a tank thermostat, room thermostat, controller, and then the mothership that will mate those three, as well as our 2-port valves and the cabling that will come from both thermostats all together. Not sure where I'm going to mount that yet, but yeah, there's a lot to go on there. But first, I think with the wiring, I'm going to need to focus on running a cable from the tank, which is in our bedroom, all the way over there, along here, down here, and then I've got everything to play with. So we'll work that out in the next episode. So there we have it. I think we're going to close this episode off. I think that milestone is enough content for the first episode. I can see there being at least 2 more for the wiring and the actual commissioning of the boiler, but I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope it's given you a bit of inspiration if you're looking to put an S-Plan into your home. And what I really like is the scalability of it. So as we continue to extend the house, we can add more zones on, so on and so forth. But yeah, I'm super excited to get this thing up and running, more so because we don't actually have any heating at the moment, and our hot water is done by an immersion, but at least we do have hot water and we do have a source of heat through our wood burners. Anyway, I'm waffling. If you want to see more content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you farewell. See ya.